역을 맡은 임민호입니다. 참 오랜만에 이렇게
Lovely viewers, welcome back to another emotional and gripping moment we're about to share together. Today's story is not just about romance, not just about celebrity drama, but about courage, loyalty, and love expressed in a way that left the entire world talking. We are diving deep into the emotional scene where Lee Minho, in front of cameras and the public eye, stepped forward to defend Song Hye Kyo against allegations linked to Song Joong-ki. This moment was raw, powerful, and one that has already etched itself into the memories of fans everywhere. Picture the atmosphere, lovely viewers. A grand event filled with flashing lights, cameras clicking non-stop, reporters waiting to catch even the smallest reaction, and celebrities walking the red carpet with grace. And there, standing with unwavering presence, was Lee Minho. The whispers were already in the air. Allegations had resurfaced against Song Hye Kyo, with Joong-ki's name tied into the storm. The internet was ablaze with speculation, harsh comments, and endless debates. But then came the moment no one expected. Lee Minho, her partner, her biggest supporter, and her shield, took a stand. He didn't wait for a reporter to corner him with questions. He didn't wait for rumors to swallow her name whole. Instead, he stepped to the microphone with a steady gaze and spoke words that sent chills down the spine of everyone present. His voice was firm, his tone filled with emotion, as he made it clear that Song Hye Kyo would not face this storm alone. For years, fans had admired Lee Minho for his charm, his acting, and his charisma. But in this moment, they saw a different side of him, a man fiercely protective of the woman he loves. Lovely viewers, imagine how Song Hye Kyo must have felt sitting there. Cameras zoomed in on her. Her expression a mix of surprise and deep emotion. She wasn't expecting him to speak, not like this, not so boldly. And yet, as his words filled the air, you could see her eyes glisten, her lips tremble slightly as if holding back tears. This wasn't just a statement. This was love, loyalty, and respect displayed before the entire world. Lee Minho said that false narratives and half-truths had plagued Hye Kyo for far too long, and it was time to set the record straight. He reminded everyone that she had carried herself with grace even when attacked unfairly. He pointed out that no one truly knew the struggles she faced during her past marriage, yet people were quick to judge her. And then came the line that made the crowd gasp. He said, "If you want to attack her, you will have to come through me first." Lovely viewers, can you feel the power in those words? That was not just a man speaking as a celebrity. That was a man speaking as a partner, as someone who refused to let the woman he loves be torn apart again. The reaction was immediate. Fans erupted on social media, flooding timelines with clips of the scene. Hashtags with their names trended globally within minutes. Some fans said they cried watching the video. Others said their respect for Lee Minho had grown even stronger. Many admitted they had never seen such a public display of love and protection from him before. And Song Hye Kyo's quiet, emotional reaction became one of the most replayed clips. Her soft smile through teary eyes, her silent gratitude shining brighter than any words could. Lovely viewers, let's pause and reflect. Have you ever wished someone would stand up for you in the same way? To have someone silence the noise, protect your dignity, and remind the world of your worth. That's what makes this scene so emotional, because it's not just about celebrities. It's about something deeply human. It's about being seen, defended, and loved. The emotional weight of this moment was even greater because it wasn't rehearsed. Insiders later revealed that Lee Minho hadn't told anyone, not even Hye Kyo, that he was going to speak. He saw the attacks resurfacing. He saw how it was affecting her, and he couldn't stay quiet anymore. That raw authenticity made his words all the more powerful. Fans watching live said you could feel the sincerity in his voice, as if every word came straight from his heart. What makes this even more touching is the history. Everyone knows the shadows that linger from Hye Kyo's past with Song Joong-ki. The allegations, the silence, the endless gossip. She endured it all with quiet strength. But this time things were different. This time, she had someone by her side willing to fight for her. Someone unwilling to let her carry the burden alone. And isn't that what true love looks like, lovely viewers? Not just the smiles and the romance, but the bravery to stand in front of the storm and shield the one you love. And let's not ignore the symbolism of this moment. By defending her publicly, Lee Minho was making a statement, not just to Joong or the media, but to the entire world. He was saying, "This is the woman I love, and I will protect her with everything I have." In a culture where silence often speaks louder than words, his choice to break that silence showed extraordinary courage. Fans who have supported both Lee Minho and Hye Kyo for years said they had goosebumps watching it unfold. Many commented that this was the first time they truly believed in the depth of their bond, not because of romantic photos or sweet interviews, but because of the way he defended her when it mattered most. That's what builds trust. That's what makes fans root for a couple. Lovely viewers, imagine yourself in that audience, watching this emotional scene live. Would you have clapped, cheered, cried along with Hye Kyo? Because from what witnesses described, the room was filled with a mix of silence, gasps, and eventually roaring applause. Even fellow celebrities nodded in admiration, some visibly moved by the sincerity of his words. As the event ended, cameras caught the tender moment when Lee Minho reached for Hye Kyo's hand. She squeezed it, her face still glistening with emotion, and together they walked out, heads held high. That image alone spoke volumes. It wasn't just about defending her reputation, it was about walking side by side, no matter what the world said. Lovely viewers, this emotional scene will be remembered not only as a dramatic turning point in their public journey, but also as a reminder of what love, loyalty, and courage look like when expressed openly. In a world full of rumors and criticism, Lee Minho showed that sometimes the most powerful act of love is simply to say, "I've got you, and I won't let them hurt you anymore." Now I want to hear from you. How did this emotional defense make you feel? Do you think Lee Minho's bold statement will silence the critics once and for all? And more importantly, don't you think Hye Kyo finally deserves this kind of unwavering protection? Share your thoughts in the comments below, lovely viewers, because this is a conversation we all need to have. People weren't just talking about the allegations anymore. They were talking about the sheer courage it took for Lee Minho to publicly stand up against the noise, and the deep emotions it stirred in Hye Kyo herself. In the hours that followed, clips of the scene spread like wildfire. Fans who weren't even tuned into the event rushed to see what had happened. Comments poured in, with people praising Lee Minho for showing the kind of loyalty and bravery that many said they hadn't seen from a celebrity couple in years. Some even called it a defining moment, comparing it to movie-like scenes where the hero steps forward to shield the woman he loves. Only this time it wasn't scripted. It was real, raw, and unspeakably powerful. Lovely viewers, imagine scrolling through your phone that night and seeing the trending hashtags. Hashtag Minho defends Hye Kyo, hashtag true love, hashtag respect. Fans from Korea to the United States, from the Philippines to Nigeria, all united in admiration. It became a global conversation, and the love story of Lee Minho and Hye Kyo suddenly became more than just romance. It became a symbol of strength, partnership, and resilience against negativity. But let's also talk about how Hye Kyo felt in the days after. Witnesses close to her revealed that she was overwhelmed with emotion, not just because of what Lee Minho said, but because of how he made her feel safe in a way she hadn't felt for a long time. For years, she had been carrying the weight of scrutiny on her own. She had been silent, dignified, but alone in her defense. This time was different. This time, she had someone who refused to let her fight alone. She reportedly told friends that she had never expected him to speak so openly, and that his words touched her in a way nothing else could. Lovely viewers, isn't that the kind of love we all dream about? Someone who sees your pain even when you try to hide it and says, "I will stand here with you no matter the cost"? And what about Joong? That's where the continuation becomes even more complex. The silence from his side after Minho's defense became a topic of its own. Some fans speculated that he chose not to respond because he knew that speaking further might only ignite more controversy. Others believed his silence was an admission that the time had come to let the past rest. But there were also voices who felt his silence left too many questions unanswered. Whatever the reason, The contrast between Minho's boldness and Joong-ki's quiet retreat was striking, and it added even more emotional weight to the situation. Lovely viewers, let's not forget that these are human beings behind the fame. The way Minho defended Hye Kyo reminded us that love is not about perfection. It's about presence. It's about standing up for someone when the world seems against them. And for Hye Kyo, who once faced storms in silence, that act of defense was more than just words. It was healing. It was validation. It was a message to her heart that she no longer had to be alone in the battles she faced. The media, of course, analyzed every detail. Some praised Lee Minho as the ideal partner, brave, loyal, and protective. Others wondered if this would stir tension with Joong-ki, or if it would open a new chapter of controversy. But what stood out most was how the public largely rallied behind Hye Kyo. For once, she wasn't being painted as the fragile actress at the center of rumors. She was being celebrated as the woman worth fighting for, worth protecting, and worth loving openly. Lovely viewers, imagine the conversations among fans who have supported her for years. Many said this was the first time they felt she was truly protected. They reminisced about the pain she endured during her divorce years ago, when she had no one by her side to speak for her. To see Lee Minho step into that role now brought tears to their eyes. Some even said they felt like justice had finally been served. Not in a courtroom, but in the court of public opinion, where love and loyalty spoke louder than any rumor ever could. And isn't it fascinating, dear viewers, how one emotional moment can redefine a couple's public image entirely? Before this, Lee Minho and Song Hye Kyo were admired for their beauty, talent, and rumored romance. After this, they were admired for their courage, their strength as a couple, and the undeniable bond that allowed them to face adversity together. So let's reflect together. If you were in Song Hye Kyo's place, sitting quietly as the man you love publicly silenced your critics, how would you feel? Would you break down in tears of gratitude? Would you feel a weight lift off your shoulders? Or would you, like Hye Kyo, simply smile through glistening eyes, holding his hand as a silent thank you? These are the emotions that make this story resonate so deeply. It's not just their story, it's ours too. Lovely viewers, the continuation of this moment is still unfolding. The fans are still talking, the media is still buzzing, and Hye Kyo and Minho's bond seems stronger than ever. And as we watch this love story play out, one thing is certain. Lee Minho's defense will go down as one of the most emotional and unforgettable scenes in Korean entertainment history. But what followed after that emotional scene deserves to be told in full, because it wasn't just a moment. It was a movement. A movement that shifted how people saw love, loyalty, and resilience in the face of endless scrutiny. And today, we're diving much deeper into how this single act changed not only Song Hye Kyo and Lee Minho's story, but also the wider conversation surrounding Song Joong-ki's allegations. The truth, lovely viewers, is that when Lee Minho stood there, his voice steady, his words sharp yet filled with love, he created a turning point. Suddenly, the whispers about Song Hye Kyo's past with Song Joong-ki didn't carry the same sting anymore. People began asking themselves, if Lee Minho, someone who knows her intimately now, can see her worth so clearly, then why should we let old rumors drag her down? It was like he gave the public permission to stop fixating on her past pain, and instead celebrate her present joy. Isn't that powerful? In the days that followed, fans noticed something new in Song Hye Kyo. She smiled more, and not the polite, practiced smile that many celebrities wear in public. This was different. It was softer, more relaxed, the smile of a woman who finally felt protected. At one event, cameras captured her whispering something into Lee Minho's ear, and though no one knows what she said, the way he leaned in close and the way her eyes sparkled suggested gratitude. That moment went viral too, with fans captioning it things like, "This is what love looks like," and "She's finally free." Lovely viewers, let me paint this picture for you. Imagine Song Hye Kyo walking into another public event weeks later, this time with her head held a little higher. The difference wasn't in her outfit or makeup. It was in her aura. It was the aura of a woman who knew she no longer had to face storms alone. Reporters noted how much more open she seemed, how she no longer dodged questions with tension but instead answered calmly, with a quiet strength that everyone could feel. And behind her, always watching, was Minho, a silent pillar of support. Doesn't it warm your heart to see how one moment of defense can transform someone's whole outlook? But this continuation also takes us back to Song Joong-ki's silence. Because as fans and the media continued praising Minho, the absence of any response from Joong-ki became louder than words. Some began to question if Joong-ki regretted not being more vocal during his marriage with Hye Kyo, if perhaps he realized too late how much she needed that kind of public support back then. Others speculated that his silence was calculated, that he didn't want to ignite a war of words that could tarnish his own image further. Either way, the comparison was unavoidable. One man spoke up boldly, while the other chose to stay quiet. And for fans who had followed Hye Kyo's journey from heartbreak to healing, the contrast was striking. Lovely viewers, I want you to think about this personally. If you had gone through a painful breakup or a divorce, and years later someone tried to bring it back up against you, wouldn't it mean everything if the person you love today stood up and said, "No, enough. She deserves peace. She deserves respect"? That's exactly what Minho did. And because he did it publicly, millions of people felt that moment alongside Hye Kyo. It was like he gave her a shield, not just in private, but before the entire world. Now let's talk about how this scene impacted their fans. Supporters of Minho and Song Hye Kyo, who had already been shipping them as a couple, became even more invested. Fan clubs organized online campaigns praising their love story, making artworks and video edits that captured the essence of Minho's defense. You could see montages circulating, clips of him standing tall for her, paired with romantic background music, captions about loyalty, and even fans from different countries translating his words into their own languages so that everyone could feel the weight of his message. It wasn't just Korean fans celebrating anymore. It was global. But what makes this even more fascinating, dear viewers, is how the entertainment industry reacted. Behind the scenes, insiders revealed that producers and directors began seeing the couple in a new light. Offers for joint appearances, endorsement deals, and even potential drama projects started pouring in because people wanted to capture the authenticity of their bond. Imagine that. One moment of real love inspiring fictional scripts and new opportunities. It shows how deeply their story resonated with people's hearts. Yet, at the core of it all was Song Hye Kyo's personal transformation. For years, she had been admired as an actress, praised for her beauty and talent, but often labeled as fragile when it came to handling rumors. After Minho's defense, that image shifted. Now she was seen as strong not because she fought back, but because she allowed herself to be loved and defended. There's strength in letting someone stand beside you, in accepting their protection without shame. And Hye Kyo showed the world that vulnerability is not weakness, it's humanity. Lovely viewers, let me ask you, doesn't this remind you of the timeless truth that love isn't just about grand gestures in private, but about showing the world, this is the person I choose, this is the person I protect? That's why Minho's act touched so many hearts. He didn't whisper his support behind closed doors. He declared it before everyone, and in doing so, he redefined what it means to love publicly. And the story doesn't end here. In the weeks after, as fans continued to debate Joong-ki's silence, some insiders claimed that Minho had quietly told Hye Kyo, "No matter what comes, I'll be here." Just imagine how reassuring those words must have felt after everything she endured in the past. No more walking alone. No more carrying heavy burdens without someone to share the load. For Song Hye Kyo, it wasn't just about being defended. It was about finally feeling safe in love. Lovely viewers, this is why that emotional scene continues to live in our minds. It was not just drama, it was real life, unfolding like a story we could all connect to. A woman with a painful past, a man brave enough to protect her in the present, and a world watching, learning, and reflecting on what true love looks like. And as their story unfolds, one thing is clear. Minho and Song Hye Kyo have become more than just a couple in the public eye. They've become an emblem of hope for anyone who's ever wished for love that doesn't just whisper behind closed doors but shouts before the world.